Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and I was always told how to voice radio, so today we're going to be looking at a completed set. We finally know that we are getting the new unit energy in the upcoming Forbidden Light expansion, which will be coming out in May. I told you this was going to happen. I felt very good about this, and although not all of my predictions are right, I've been wrong about a number of things. For instance, I said Darkrai would see a bit of play for the ability, but was not a good attacker. That was a very dumb thing to say. That was not correct. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is correct. We are getting the third unit energy, and it is going to be the 3 remaining types that we've yet to see. It's going to be Fairy, Fighting, and Darkness energy. Now, why did it take 3 of these when it only took 2 to get Blend Energy? Because these are, of course, the updated versions of Blend Energy. And the reason is very simple. When Blend Energy came around, we had 8 types of energy. So we had 2 cards, each of which provided 4 kinds of energy, and life was good. Problem is, nowadays, we have 9 types of energy because we've added Fairy. Dragon doesn't count because there is no basic Dragon energy. There is double Dragon energy, which we would like to have back at some point, maybe one day, but not anytime soon. So Blend Energy, we only had 4 types. It divided by 2 nicely. But when Unit Energy comes around, we can't do that, unfortunately. We have to have 3 of them. 9 is nicely divisible by 3, so that makes life nice and easy. The thing is, and this is the big question, this is the whole point of doing videos like this, is it actually going to see any play? Because the first 2 Blend Energy came around in Ultra Prism, which was released a couple of weeks ago, and doesn't really seem to be seeing a huge amount of play. Because the thing is, and this is a big elephant in the room when it really comes to stuff like Blend Energy, we've got Rainbow Energy. And Rainbow Energy does the same thing as Blend Energy, but better in some respects. Now, I should remind you at this stage what they actually do. You see the energy symbols on the card? It provides those energy. Nice and simple, that's all it does. So this new one will provide Fairy, Darkness, and Fighting energy. That's what it does. That's all it does. And it is a special energy card. We'll get to the implications of that in a moment. But Rainbow Energy forces you to take a damage counter. So put nice and simply, the rule with Unit Energy is the same rule as it was with Blend Energy. If you can afford to play this over Rainbow Energy, it's good, because you don't have to take the damage counter. But a lot of the time, you're going to rather play Rainbow Energy. So if we take something like a Garbodor Drampa deck, for instance, we see that Drampa has that Berserk attack. If one of your bench Pokemon is damaged, you get to do 150 with Berserk. You would not even consider playing Blend Energy here, because actually you only really want Psychic Energy. But the reason you play Rainbow Energy is because you want to take that damage counter onto one of your bench Pokemon, so that Drampa comes along with Berserk and does a huge amount of damage. Now, to be fair, a lot of players are actually choosing to just go basic Psychic now, leaving this and just assuming that at some point one of their Pokemon's going to end up damaged. That's how the new versions of this deck are starting to look. But that's one reason to play Rainbow Energy. Back when Blend Energy was a thing, we would see decks with Hydreigon and Darkrai. And these would actually see a fair bit of play, and they would see play with Blend Energy. And one of the reasons were that you were playing the Hydreigon with Dark Trance anyway. You could move all of your Darkness energy around, and that of course opened up max potion plays, which was quite nice. So you pop a Blend Energy down, then you can actually use Hydreigon's Dark Trance, and then you've got a good attacker there. It was nice, and of course that opened up other tech options we don't really have time to get into in this video. So history tells us that these kind of energy cards will see play as long as we've got 2 types that we want to play together, because then you don't have to take the damage counter from Rainbow Energy. So now we look specifically at this Blend Energy, and we go, alright, what decks really want to play Fairy, Darkness, and Fighting? And the one that springs to mind straight away for me is a Buzzwole deck that is also playing Zoroark. Because with Buzzwole, you need that energy turn 1, and of course you'd like it to be a strong energy to add 20 damage, but you can't always find a strong energy. So what you could do is you could play Unit Energy here. Unit Energy would work for Jet Punch in the early game, and that would be lovely and fun and fantastic and wonderful. but then you could attach it to your Zoroark. Now, I know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on a second. Why would we want to attach it to Zoroark when we could just use double colourless energy? Well, there's two reasons. First of all, Zoroark GX has a very good but underutilised GX attack. You get to copy any attack on any of your opponent's Pokemon for just 2 darkness energy, and that includes one of their GX attacks. Problem is, there aren't that many decks that can really take advantage of it at the moment. The other thing is, when we say Zoroark, we don't necessarily just mean Zoroark GX. How about Zoroark Break? Here, you've got a Pokemon that for a single darkness energy can copy any of the active Pokemon's attacks, including a GX attack. And here you're in a great position because you can copy stuff like Tapu Bulu's Nature's Judgment and get a one-hit KO. Or you can copy something like Ho-Oh GX's Phoenix Burn, though you will need a choice band for this, and get a KO. Or you can copy something like Buzzwole's Knuckle Impact, you will again need a choice band, to get a KO. It's a great Pokemon. And unit energy allows us to do this without taking a damage counter. And we don't want to play Darkness Energy when we're playing Buzzwole, because if we play Darkness Energy, we run the risk of not having a turn 1 Fighting Energy, which means we run the risk of not having a turn 1 Jet Punch, which is a very bad thing indeed. Missing that Jet Punch sucks, ladies and gentlemen. It's something you really want to be hitting. And there's nothing worse than having that Buzzwole turn 1, having it in the active or getting it in the active, and then not being able to use Jet Punch. This unit energy allows you to keep the Jet Punch going, while also allowing you to use something like Zoroark in the late game. Now, I know Buzzwole Zoroark saw a bit of play when Zoroark was released. It is dropping a little bit. People aren't hyping it so much. I like the idea of blend energy here. And actually, Buzzwole is a great Pokemon to showcase exactly what that 1 damage counter from Rainbow Energy can do. It's absolutely huge. Buzzwole has 190 HP rather than 180. So if you take something like a Gardevoir, Gardevoir takes 7 energy total between both the actives to get a KO, because otherwise, with 6 energy, they're only doing 180 with infinite force, and that's not a KO. So having that extra 10 damage forces Gardevoir to get an extra energy. Going down to 180 because you've played Rainbow Energy means that they don't need that extra energy. Similarly, the aforementioned Tapu Bulu, Nature's Judgment with the discard does 180, which means they need something like a Choice Band to go and get that KO. And that's harder for them. It means one more card they need to draw. It means they might have to hit you for 180, giving you a chance to play something like an Ace Roller to heal yourself. Unless you play a Rainbow Energy and put yourself down to 180 and then they're in KO range. Some decks are going to make use of this, and with something like unit energy, it's not necessarily is there a deck that can use it now, although I do think Buzzwole Zoroark is potentially an option. It's about whether they can use it in the future. This is a great card to have in the format, because you never know when it's going to get good. Now, I do need to mention here it is a special energy. Things like Enhanced Hammer, which are seeing a lot more play nowadays, will get rid of it. It also means that decks like Buzzwole are going to have to stop playing Max Elixir if they're trying to play strong energy along with this. And it does mean that you might find yourself a little bit too reliant on special energy. It means it's harder to get those free energy on for something like Knuckle Impact. And it means that you are going to be vulnerable to stuff like Enhanced Hammer. All of this is kind of annoying, but we can live with it, ladies and gentlemen, because a deck like Buzzwole Zoroark is not necessarily going to be going for a Knuckle Impact, because you can afford to Jet Punch in the early game, building up for something like a Foul Play in the mid to late game. Either way, this is a very exciting card, and it's a kind of card that doesn't really need a score. If I've got to give it a score, I'll give it 4 Wassies. It's a kind of card that might sit here and never see any play. But that's only because we don't have the right combination of cards. Any deck, and I mean any deck, that wants to play 2 or 3 of these free energy types, but only them, will love this and prefer it over Rainbow Energy. We've all seen how good Rainbow Energy can be. In certain decks, this is a better Rainbow Energy. The only real question is, will we ever get those decks released? Maybe it's Buzzwole Zoroark, maybe it's something else in the future, maybe it's nothing. But that doesn't mean it's a bad card, it just means we never saw the right combination of cards released. Maybe you know those combinations though, ladies and gentlemen, so let me know in the comment section. Tell me about decks that you think could make use of this. Go nuts, but be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWossy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.